Hey fun fans, Nick Jr. back here. First Charged Up is officially upon us and in full swing. Similar to last build season, on this edition of FRC Updates Now, I will be here breaking down the team updates for you each week throughout the build season and why they are important for your team to know while you are strategizing, designing, constructing, and programming your team's robot. First, updates accommodations at events, awards officially during the double elimination period, and the death of the monetary game piece rule in First Charged Up. All of this and more coming up on this edition of FRC Updates Now.
This video on First Updates Now is made possible by viewers like you and also the following sponsors. Stryker is one of the world-leading medical technology companies and is driven to help make healthcare better. Stryker's commitment to innovation has made it a career destination for engineering professionals. Click the link in the description box below or go to careers.stryker.com to discover your next opportunity. Check out the Open Alliance show live Tuesdays 8 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/firstupdatesnow and on YouTube the next day during the build season. 15 teams will be showcasing their build season progress to help inspire teams. From prototypes, CAD, vision software, assemblies, and robot demonstrations, make sure you check out the Open Alliance show.
Jumping right into Team Update 0. This had actually come out on kickoff a couple minutes after the game manual was released. Nothing too crazy here from what we have seen previous in the past, but I know that in the weeks leading up to kickoff, First did announce that they are going to be kind of overhauling their accommodations for persons with disabilities at events. I know that this was a big concern for a couple teams, but I know a team that was completely willing to help First, Team 1023 Bedford Express, from where I'm from, Michigan, was kind of spearheading this, and I remember in the blog post being released up to the weeks that First was actually thanking 1023 for bringing the issues to their attention and then helping First with those accommodation rules. So First, putting a statement here in the section 1 of the manual, just saying that they are updating accommodations and they're more than willing to help and try and figure out how they can help those people with disabilities at events. Jumping into section 7, I know that one of the bigger changes that came this offseason was looking at the move to the double elimination playoff round instead of the normal bracket style that we've seen. But it is officially noted here that closing ceremony elements such as awards at the end of the event are now integrated and presented between the playoff matches. So I think this provides a unique experience for teams that hopefully will in turn speed up the award presentations, and I think that it also allows to fill some of the time gaps that we're going to see in the double elimination period. I know that a lot of teams were very happy to see that the time between their elimination matches at the end of the tournament are going to have a significantly more amount of time, but the big question was how are we going to fill that time? So good to see that First is jumping here and making the step to move those award presentations to during that round. Section 8, just another accommodation that event management may reserve seats for attendees who do require accommodations. Jumping down here, just some minor grammar changes here, nothing too crazy. First did note G206 that they added the line unable to drive, and defining it means that because of the incident, the driver can no longer drive to a desired location in a reasonable time. For example, if a robot can only move in circles or can move extremely slow, the robot is considered unable to drive. Keeping game pieces in bounds, robots may not intentionally eject game pieces, so it seems that if it is incidental, that they may be a little more lenient on that, but again, be sure to consult your referees at the specific districts that you're competing at. H107 was added. Throwing your own match is bad, more or less. Be gracious professional, don't be throwing matches at competitions. H109 added the line that temporary deformation of the game piece to preload the robot is an exception to this rule. So obviously, as we can see this year with the cone and the cubes, they're very pliable. They're not like the cone's not like a hard plastic. So we see that temporary deformation of the game piece is allowed. Another accommodation line, First is allowing that there may not be accompanied by more than one silent observer with one student. But some events may restrict arena access to members of the drive team if needed. Expected match start time is passed. Breaking down, being prompt to go to the field. Nothing too crazy here, but a lot of verbiage on exactly examples. And be sure to take a look at this one because I know this is a pretty in-depth one as well. Just some more grammar here. Moving to the section 9 of the robot construction rules, R206, don't damage game pieces. Robot elements likely to come in contact with the game piece shall not pose a significant hazard to the game piece, with the caveat that game pieces are expected to go under a reasonable amount of wear and tear as they handled by robots, such as scratching or marking, gouging, tearing off pieces, or routinely making game pieces are indeed a violation of this rule. So if it happens once, you're probably going to be okay, but if you have a robot that is tend to pop the cubes and you're popping consecutive matches, R206 may be an issue that you're going to see, along with the arena rule as well that is slated for it. Important to note that R304 during the event only working during pit hours. You are no longer, or at least the clarification has been added that you are no longer allowed to run a 3D printer or automated manufacturing process overnight producing robot parts. Another big update over the summer that was released is that FRC is requiring that team bumper numbers only be white. So I know on my team 33 we used to do the yellow numbers a lot. I'm not going to do that anymore. They have to be only white. So important if you were a team that had your numbers that were colored, they must be completely white now. Breaking down some bumper rules. I know that this is another Al and forgive me the other lead robot inspector's name, but did a great job in looking at the bumper rules and breaking down the pool noodle diameters and such to try and help teams with that. So I appreciate their help on that. Coming down here, linear actuators have now been are allowed to be used on the robot, so be sure to check into those rules if you plan on anticipating using a linear actuator. Jotting down here, just some part markings as well being added. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for Team Update 0. And coming up, we're going to be taking a look at Team Update 1. Okay, so taking a look into Team Update 1, there was some playing field asset official field measurements that had been changed related to the April tag coordinates. So when your team's going and setting up your field, be sure to take a look at these and making sure that your April tag coordinates tables that are made on page 4 of the layout and marking diagram have been updated. So please make sure to catch that and make sure your tags are in the correct orientation. First provided a updated graphic here for G107, don't extend yourself. So obviously important here with this year's game, we're allowed to extend up to 48 inches outside of our frame printer. We are only allowed to do it on one side of the robot at a time. So as you can see in the top right corner, so if you're doing some sort of extended arm, it can be more than that as long as it doesn't break that 48 inches. And then same for C and D as well. And then obviously A shows where you would be breaking G107 and not able to extend out of that 48 inches. So be sure to make sure that you're designing your robots that you cannot physically extend past the 48 inches. Looking to allowable motors, there was just some added part numbers for the Robotics Neo brushless motor and the Robotics Neo 550 now that they are stocked by IndyMark. And then similar with the SparkMax controller and the Spark motor controller as well. There was some updated to the playoff match bracket. I know that when I was reading the first manual that the match numbers had kind of didn't seem correct, so I'm glad to see FRC come back and actually fix these. So blue will actually be the winner of match 9 and red will be the winner of match 10 for the lower bracket round 4 match 12. And the specific gaps of time that you're going to see are listed here, so please make sure to review that playoff match schedule. And then, one of the bigger things, at least for me, from what I've seen, and, being in a, district system, one of the biggest questions related to double elimination was reviewing how FRC is going to be doing the district playoff point system. So how it used to be when we had the traditional bracket, if you're not familiar with it, FRC would award an alliance 10 points for each time advancing in the tournament. So if I was a member of Alliance 2 and I had won my 2 matches to advance to the semifinals, I would get 10 points, 10 district points. If I had beat the other alliance to move to the, once I was in the semifinals, if I had beaten my alliance to make it to the finals, I would get another 10 points. And then if I had actually won the event at that point, I would get another 10 points for a total of 30. So this is about how I expected it to figure out. So the winning alliance is still getting 30. The finalist alliance is still getting 20. the third place team is getting 13, and the fourth place team is getting 7. So it's about how I figured it out to be. So I'm glad to see First finally put that out there as well. So that's the end of Team Update 1. Nothing too crazy yet, but I'm sure we'll see some stuff come up in the next few weeks here. So again, I'll be here every week breaking down the team updates that are released here on FRC Updates Now. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
This video on First Updates Now is made possible by viewers like you and also the following sponsors. Stryker is one of the world-leading medical technology companies and is driven to help make healthcare better. Stryker's commitment to innovation has made it a career destination for engineering professionals. Click the link in the description box below or go to careers.stryker.com to discover your next opportunity. Check out the Open Alliance Show live Tuesdays 8 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/firstupdatesnow and on YouTube the next day during the build season. 15 teams will be showcasing their build season progress to help inspire teams. From prototypes, CAD, vision software, assemblies, and robot demonstrations, make sure you check out the Open Alliance Show. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on our new videos. Keep the conversation going and provide your input to our content. Watch our live shows at twitch.tv/firstupdatesnow, join our Discord at discord.gg/firstupdatesnow, and check out Fun FTC on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and First Updates Now on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.